Here I have a source folder in Eclipse, and I prepared already a package called WindowBuilder. I right click, go to New, and all the way down to Other. Now here, when I close this up, you can see the different new things. I want the window builder. There are different choices. I'm interested in the Swing designer, so I open that up. You can see some top level containers, JApplet, JDialog, JFrame. I want a JFrame. Now here I say next. I choose a name. My name is Demo Window Builder. And finish. Now it takes a moment. It's going to create a file for us. And I want you to notice there are two tabs, Source and Design. I'm switching to the Design tab for a moment. And once again, this is going to take a little while. So I try to make the left side a little bit smaller so we can see more. And on the right hand side, you can see the design view of my GUI. I could run my application right now, which I'm going to do, and I push over my window. They're very similar. The design view gives you a very good idea how your GUI is going to look like. So I'm going to close my window, and I'm going back to my source view. You can see a class Demo Window Builder. It extends JFrame, which means Demo Window Builder is a JFrame. JFrame, of course, represents a window. I want to have a look at the constructor, so I'm scrolling down a little bit. Notice two of the properties of the window are set. One is called Set Default Close Operation, and it's set to exit on close. What that means is if we click this little X on top of the window, then the application is closed. The second one is called Set Bounds. Here we define what is the width of the window, the height of the window, and the position. This is the position from the left hand side of my screen and from the top of the screen, positioning the top left corner of my window. Besides that, we are creating a new JPanel, and it is assigned to Content Pane. You can see Content Pane is a private field of type JPanel. It has a border, an empty border of 5 pixels, and it has the layout set to border layout. We are going to look at that in a moment. Last but not least, this content pane, this JPanel is set as the content pane of my JFrame. One more thing I want to point out is the main method. And the main method has all kinds of things going on here. The purpose is to create a demo window builder, this is my frame, and to set the visibility to true. Now, you might be wondering, why do we need to do all these things like creating a new runnable, etc.? The reason is that Swing has a rule, and this rule says that all code that modifies the user interface must be executed in the event dispatching thread. Shouldn't be a concern to us. All we need to know is we have a main method, and it launches our JFrame, our window, and sets it to visible. So we're going to close that, and we're no further concerned with it. From now on, we are going to focus on what we are going to display in the window. I'm going to switch back to Design View. Here I have a number of different choices in my palette. Containers, layouts, menus. I'm looking at the components for now, and I'm in particular interested in a Jlabel. A Jlabel allows me to display a text on my window. I click my Jlabel with the left mouse click, and I hover over my window. Notice there are 5 areas: north, south, west, east, center. This is the border layout. Remember, we set the layout of the content pane to border layout. If I place a component in the center area, it fills out whatever space is available at the given time. Here, all the space is available. We haven't used any other area yet. So I'm going to click, and my label is going to fill out the whole window. You see it is going to be displayed on the left hand side in a fairly small font, but here I have an opportunity to choose a text and I say hello world. I might notice that I misspelled hello world. Not a problem, I can come down here, fix it. In my text property, this area here allows me to access different properties of my current component. So here I am going to add a second L. If I scroll up, I can see that the variable name was based on the name that I originally chose. So it says label LBL hello world with a single L. Not a problem. If I want to fix that, I can change this right here and choose whatever name I want for my variable. So this is my label hello world, and it is still in a very small font and left aligned, something we're going to fix in a moment. But before we do that, we want to have a look at the source code and see how the creation of the label affected my source code. Notice in my constructor 2 new lines were added. The first line here creates a new Jlabel and assigns it to a local variable LBL hello world, and the second line adds this hello world label to the center of the border layout from my content pane. Very important, only creating a label doesn't make it part of my GUI. I need to add the J component to a container. In my case, I'm adding it to the content pane, which is a J panel. So I'm going back to my design view, and now we're going to change some properties to make this label a little prettier. What I would like is to change my font. Here it says font, it's the Homer 11, but I would like something bigger. So I click on the ellipse, I choose maybe 24, and I also choose bold and maybe a different font. I could have, for example, Georgia. Say OK. And in addition, I would like my label to be centered. So I'm scrolling down a little bit. Here you can see it says horizontal alignment, and right now it's set to leading. I click on the leading with my left mouse. It gives me a drop-down list and I choose center. So right now my text is centered. And by the way, I would also like to change the color. So I'm looking at my foreground. This is the foreground color. I'm choosing the ellipse again, and it gives me choices. So here you can see AWT colors, very limited, system colors, swing colors. I often like to use the name colors, and I'm going to use a dark blue here, a navy blue. And you can see dark blue, hello world. Once again, I'm switching back to my source code to see what happened. Notice that the constructor keeps growing. So after the creation of my label, it added information about how my label should look like. The forecolor, the horizontal alignment, the font, and of course we still have the statement that adds the label to the content pane. That's very important. I'm going to run the program because I would like to see my window. And there it is, dark blue, hello world, centered in my window.